Susa is one of the most ancient cities in the world existing today. Archaeological findings indicate signs of civilization there before 4,000 years BC. The name of the city appears in the biblical books of Daniel, Nehemiah, and Esther. The ancient Susa is located in what is now Midwestern Iran, close to Iraq. It used to be the capital of the Kingdom of Elam. In 647 BC, Susa was taken, looted, and destroyed by the Assyrian king Ashurbanipal. Their victory is recorded in cuneiform script on a hexagonal clay column. The ruins of Susa was rebuilt around 519 BC by Darius I, the fourth emperor of the Persian Empire. And it became a magnificent city as described in the Book of Esther. Alexander the Great conquered Susa in 331 BC. He also inscribed on one of the palace stone pillar bases, stating that he conquered Babylon, and Susa was on his way toward Persepolis. The ancient city of Susa gradually declined in the 13th century AD. My dear friends, what we are looking at is the remains of the royal palace of Susa on a vast land on a hilltop, right by the modern city of Susa. The enormous palace buildings include the Apadna Palace, which took 3 acres of land, and the Inner Court Palace, which occupied 10 acres of land. By the time Ahasuerus, son of Darius, was enthroned, Susa had become the administrative center of the Persian Empire. All the events recorded in the Book of Esther happened here. The Jewish festival of Purim also originated from this city.
Purim is the most interesting and earth-shaking day of celebration in the Jewish calendar. Purim originally means lots in Hebrew. The climax of Purim is when people of all ages gather together in the evening, listening to their rabbi reading the Book of Esther and sending gifts to one another.
Many people may ask, why should the Book of Esther hold such an important place in the Jewish tradition? Let's go back to the 5th century BC and let us have a much closer look at the Persian Empire.
As shown on the timeline, the Book of Esther took place during the era of King Ahasuerus, also known as King Xerxes the Great, who ruled between 486 BC to 465 BC. It's over 100 years after the Israelites were captured by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar, that is 586 BC. And over 50 years from the time when Zerubbabel led the first band of Jews to return to Jerusalem, that is 537 BC. During this period, there were still many Jewish people who chose to stay in the land of the captives, either because they did not have the funds to relocate, or because they were too settled with their business and good life to embrace any changes.
Of all the books in the Bible, the Book of Esther was the only one that mentions those Jews who did not return to Jerusalem. Another peculiar thing is that the entire Book of Esther did not mention the name of God, as if God was absent during this period of history. To these questions, there are different explanations. Esther in Hebrew means hidden, which may imply that God wanted to convey the message that he wants to hide, as punishment for the disobedience of the Jews. Also, another illustration of God's motives can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 17. I will forsake them and hide my face from them, because the Israelites rebelled against him. However, I personally favor yet another explanation. Perhaps the Book of Esther makes no direct reference of God's name due to the political situation at the time. Even though God's name was not mentioned directly, his work was clearly shown in the Book of Esther, and God's presence was manifested as well.
Generally, the Book of Esther can be divided into 9 parts. 1. The background. 2. Esther entered the palace. 3. Mordecai performed deed of merit. 4. The rise of Haman. 5. Facing calamity. 6. The foolish Haman. 7. The mighty hand of God. 8. Turn peril to safety. 9. The origin of Purim.
At Spring of Water International Ministries, we invite you to journey with us, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Isaiah 55:10. To find out more, follow Spring of Water International Ministries.